Hello, hello, everybody. My name is Jen Buck, and I am one of your hosts for the evening. And we wanted to share our norms, if you will, for the night and give you a little bit of direction so that as we're going through this process, we're all in this together. You're going to get all of the slides that you see, along with the links that we bring up in the chat. So while you don't have access to respond back to us, you are going to have everything in the chat. Now, I'm also going to tell you that we are recording. And so our goal is to get you the recording via email by Tuesday night. Be sure to check your spam to make sure that it comes through and all is well. Now, another thing, there is not a chance in the world that we're going to go through the next hour and a half without a glitch. So just know that if there is some kind of a technical glitch, we're asking you to roll with it, laugh a little bit, embrace the whole process, and just move forward with all of us. The goal is for all of us to have a great night and not worry about all the technical stuff that happens. Also, there's going to be call to actions that you're going to see. Those call to actions are going to be spoken about by the people who are up here doing their presentations, but also we'll be putting those links into the chat. While this is not a fundraising event, we want to make sure that all of us get actionable items to take away to our real lives so that we can all do something for the campaign. Remember, when we volunteer together, this is how we win together. Now, I mentioned that I'm the host. I also have another host. You're going to love her. She is the legendary Barbra Seville. I'll get her on in a moment, and you're going to just eat her up. She is just one of my favorites, and this is going to be a fun night. Finally, if you need those captions turned on, make sure you do that right now. That's going to help you throughout the night if you need them. So let's get started. We can get both of us on the screen right now if you want to go ahead and take the slide away. And I just want to make sure that all of you know that we are so happy that you're here. Welcome, officially welcome to West Coast Women for Kamala. We are so happy that all of you joyful warriors are here, and we hope to get you organized, mobilized, and energized tonight. We have so many great speakers for you. We have a celebrity, we've got politicians, we've got political strategists, we've got best-selling authors, influencers, and activists. This night is going to be fabulous. Now, as I mentioned, I'm Jen Buck, and I am one of the hosts for the evening, but it is my distinct honor to introduce you to the legendary Barbra Seville. Now, she is the #1 drag performer in Arizona. She's a stand-up comedian, an impersonator, and I'm also going to add that she's the host of the best drag bingo and brunches ever. And she's also famous for her feud, which you may know a little bit about, with GOP Senate candidate Kari Lake, which in 2022 exploded after she spoke out about Kari Lake's attack on the gay community. You're going to absolutely love her. Get ready. She is going to kick this whole thing up several notches. So please help me welcome Barbra Seville.
I can't believe I'm doing this with you. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled. I'm so honored to be welcomed into this space. When they invited me to do this, I was like, this is a Women for Kamala thing. You don't need me mucking things up. And they said, no, we want some laughs. We want a little bit of silliness. And so I'm so thrilled to be here. And I want to say thank you for the invitation. I also want to recognize the hard work of Black Women for Kamala. They're obviously inspired this movement, and we are on their shoulders. And I also want to take a moment to say thank you to Joe Biden for making such a selfless sacrifice and putting us in this incredible position as we approach a new moment in history, and we're going to do it together. So I'm so thrilled to be here. So thank you so much. I want to tell you all a little bit about Jen. She is a professional speaker with 25 years experience. She has done everything. She has overseen the Southwest and West Coast chapters of Pantsuit Nation, which is a big deal, doing lots of things for a long, long time. She's also ran three congressional campaigns as the chief of staff. So this is somebody who knows what it takes to win, somebody who knows what it takes to get things done. So Jen, we're so happy to have you here. And I know that we have an incredible lineup of speakers. We've got incredible speakers, and we're gonna learn, we're gonna laugh, and like you said at the beginning, we're gonna mobilize, we're gonna energize, and we're gonna motivate each other. You know, the West Coast is so often, you know, we kind of get left behind because when some of these calls have taken place, or when some of these things are happening, we're still at work, or we're in the car, or you're with your families. So this was dedicated specifically to people who are on this side of the country who don't exist on Eastern time. and of course, a focus on women, because when women do things, shit gets done. Can I say shit? Because I have it written down like 10 times.
Say it. Yes.
But I think we're going to kick things off with, I don't even know how you could sum up this person. I've had the opportunity to meet her and see her in action. I even interviewed her several years ago for a magazine. And she is a badass. She's a comedian. She is an activist. She's an Emmy nominee. She's a Grammy nominee. She has just done it. She has done the thing. And we're so grateful to have her here. So please say hello to the one and only, the notorious Margaret Cho.
Thank you. I love you, Barbara. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And you look fabulous. I'm so
I
excited.
do look good, huh?
You look amazing. You look amazing. And thank you, Jen. And thank you, everybody, for being here. This is such an important election. She has to win. Kamala has to win. And we are going to make sure that she does. What's been so insulting is all of the talk about how, oh, she slept her way to the top. Look, if that was possible, I would be way more famous than I am right now. I have slept with so many people in hopes of getting to the top. Look, it's just not possible. And it's the thing that people always say about women to discount our achievements, to discount and degrade all of the work it takes to get where we are. I mean, it takes women so much. We have to accomplish so much more to even be acknowledged, to be equal. And here we have Kamala is such an incredibly accomplished, a prosecutor, a politician, a vice president. She needs to be president. I mean, we're talking about like putting a real president in the White House again. I mean, Joe Biden, which he did a great job, and he was so incredibly gracious to step aside. And that kind of dignity is something that we're almost not used to in American politics in the age of Trump. I mean, Trump is a felon. He keeps getting indicted more and more. I mean, orange is the new orange. So this is just the time. It's time. She has to win. That's all. She has to win. That's it. That's all I can say. I think it's time. It's time. Right, Barbara? It's time.
Oh, it's more than time. It's our time. One of the purposes of this call is to give people actionable ways to make it happen. So, like you said so clearly, she needs to win. What can people do to help her win? What can people do? What can an average person do? Because not everybody's Margaret Cho. So what can the non-Cho people do?
We all have a vote. We all have a say in this. We all have a say in this. And we all have the ability to get out there and talk about this, and to get to people that actually, I don't know how anybody would be undecided in this time, but there are people out there who are still trying to decide. There are people who have doubts about whether the woman can hold the highest position in politics in the world. And we're here to convince them. We're here to convince them. We're here to get people who have never voted to vote. We're here to get people out to the polls who've never done it, who've never felt their voice counted. We're here to talk about it on social media. We're here to talk about it to anybody who will listen. And we're here to talk about it and raise money. And this is an important thing. So these Zooms really help. I think this is really important. But also just to know, to put that out there, like, we can do this. We can get her into this office. We need to save our country. I mean, this is a great time to actually be excited to be a patriot, which we haven't been excited to be patriots in a long time. I haven't. So this is a wonderful opportunity to do that.
It's so true. And that pride has come back in a way that a lot of us had never seen. So many of us weren't maybe around to bask in the glory of America. That I always hear that Ronald Reagan had projected such optimism and such joy to be an American. And there's just such a feeling right now. So Margaret, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you and all the work that you do and that you've always done. And like Kamala says, and like you said, when we fight, we win. So let's all renew our commitment to this fight. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. She's going to win.
She is. She is. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're a star. Yay. So I'm gonna let you go into the next one. What do you think of the next person we have in the lineup, Barbara? Because this is just going from great to great to great throughout this entire lineup. So why don't you tell us who we
I
have?
can't believe you're going to let me because I stepped all over your lines earlier.
worry,
I was like,
don't worry.
oh, I messed up Jen's thing. But like you
Don't
said,
worry.
that's a live show and we're gonna have some snafus. So can I say something real quickly? As a young gay person growing up, there were so many times where I wanted to do more and I wanted to find my voice and I wanted to get involved in politics. But one of my earliest memories of politics is somebody was running for president and it became known that they had received a donation from an LGBT group. And I don't remember which candidate it was, but they returned the money. And as a young gay person, I thought, wow, they hate us that much that they won't even accept our money. And so now to have the opportunity to share this space with you, to introduce a United States member of Congress, I mean, my head is exploding with pride and with just gratitude. And so it does bring me joy to introduce, number one, because I love her name, Congresswoman Barbara Lee of California. She was elected to the House in 1998, and she's a noted progressive, which we love. And she chaired the Congressional Progressive Caucus from 2005 to 2009 and the Congressional Black Caucus from 2009 to 2011. In addition, the vice chair and a founding member, because that's how you get stuff done, of the LGBTQ plus Equality Caucus, a co-chair of the Cannabis Caucus, and a co-chair of the House Democratic Steering Committee.
Yes, and she is also the recipient of the Mario Cuomo Courage Award for her stance against the death penalty and the Courage of Conscience Award for her vote against the call to war after the September 11 attacks. So this is such an incredible honor for us. I am so excited to have you help us welcome our speaker from Oakland, California's 12th District, Barbara Lee.
Hey Jen. Hey Barbara. Hey Margaret. Hey all of y'all.
So
Listen,
good to have you.
I am so glad to be here with you. Very quickly, let me just say to Barbara, let me tell you, at the Democratic Party convention this past year in Sacramento, I decided that for my greeting and my event, I would have a drag show. And I want you to know, it was the first drag show that so many of the delegates had been to, and they were just so cool. And it was a wonderful, wonderful moment for us.
And we didn't hurt anybody.
Never do.
Exactly. Fun. So thank you, Barbara. Stay the course. And Jen, thank you so much for calling us together. You know, I stay on 3 hours either behind or ahead, being in Washington, D.C. so much. This is so important for the West Coast, the Western region. I was in Arizona last weekend. I'm going to Arizona again next weekend. And all of you here today, let me just say a couple of things. First, I was just with the Vice President. We raised $12 million in San Francisco. She's prepared, okay? She's experienced, and she knows what she's doing, and she's a unifier. I have been with the Vice President, for example, seeing her on the global stage at the Munich Security Conference. This woman was born in my congressional district of Oakland, California. So, you know, she has that Oakland and Berkeley spirit also. She cares about people. She cares about the middle class and growing the middle class. She cares about making sure that our healthcare not only is protected, but that we move forward and ensure everyone has accessible, affordable health care. She cares about our reproductive freedom. You know, the pro-choice caucus, and we've had unbelievable support with our Vice President now for years in terms of her fighting for our reproductive freedom, fighting for voting rights, fighting to bring the cost of living down, fighting for our democracy. Who better to beat a convicted felon than a prosecutor who knows what she's doing? And how in the world can we not seize this moment and move forward? So I just want to thank you, because I know that she is going to win with our help. I know that she is a unifier. As I said, I've known her for over 3 decades, and I know that she believes and understands that this is a people-powered campaign, and she is relying on you. She is relying on us to win this, because we have, like Margaret said, we have no option. We've got to win, and we win. we will win because, you know, and I'm so happy she always reminds us that when we fight, what happens? We win. And when we fight, we win. And so thank you, West Coast. Thank you, Western Region, for your courage. Thank you for your concern, your passion, and thank you for the work that you're doing to make sure that not only do we defeat Donald Trump, I mean, that's obvious, but we have to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I know Tim very well. I served with him for 12 years, and what a ticket this is. So just thank you so much, but we only have a few days left, 86, 87 days? And that's enough time for us to be sure that every vote is cast and every vote is counted. Thank you all again so much.
Thank
Barbara
you.
Lee, when you come to Arizona, look me up.
I will. Where are you, Barbara? What city?
I'm in Phoenix.
You're in Phoenix. Okay, my mother lived in Sun City. You know, I know Glendale, Peoria, Phoenix, Tucson very well. So I'm going to look you up, Barbara. I want to see you.
I'll meet you in the middle, and your first tequila is on me.
Thank you very much. I know we're going to win this now.
We've got to do this.
God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Isn't that incredible, Jen? Like,
Unbelievable.
you know, I mean, this is old hat to you because you are a chief of staff and you've done this, you know, but for little Barbara Seville from Parma, Ohio, you know, this is really an incredible moment to be a part of. So,
I promise
wow.
you, I'm goosebumping too. So yeah, swear this is huge for me too.
Our goal tonight is to inspire people to take action. And so we're going to share a video right now with you. And this was created by Elizabeth Meister, and she's an independent filmmaker and activist who makes stories that move people and inspire action. Her work has been screened at festivals and galleries all around the world and broadcast on network, cable, and digital venues. She's the co-founder of Strategic Video Squad for Swing Blue Alliance, Swing Blue, baby. And she has provided the ideal opportunity to nerd out like me about voter registration and digital organizing at the same time.
And just so you all know, immediately following the video, you're going to meet Isabel Hiserodt, who is the deputy manager for Arizona Indivisible, and she's going to give us some ways to dig in and do the work in our communities. So go ahead and play that video.
Hi, are you registered to vote in Maricopa County?
You cannot get to true democracy without registering to vote.
Yes.
If they're not registered, they can't vote. If they can't vote, we can't win.
The most effective way to mobilize people to register and vote is person-to-person contact.
Thank you for joining our democracy.
When people can have a face-to-face interaction that is non-judgmental, that is non-threatening, it works.
Congratulations. Have you registered to vote?
There's a qualitative difference between writing a postcard, which is a one-way communication, and making a phone call, which is a two-way communication.
No problem.
The gold standard is to actually go to a swing state and talk directly to voters.
I've knocked 57 doors.
This is a huge task. This is monumental.
We need your first name.
First name, I forgot that.
If we could get every person who could get to an area that leans Democratic and go out to talk to folks, we need everybody. Nobody should stay at home.
Everything starts small and then it gets bigger. You get more people to the cause, you get more people into it. Even the smallest voice can like start something. How are you registering today?
Because someone asked. So I asked me I want to do it. I was like, yeah, why not? Today's the day.
Wow. What a fantastic video. Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Swing Left Alliance. That was great. I know I feel very, very motivated and very ready to get out the vote this November. Hi, everyone. My name's Isabel Hiserodt. I'm the Battlegrounds Manager with Arizona Indivisible. Thank you so much, Jen and Barbara, for having me today. What an honor to be among such amazing women and advocates this evening. Like I said, my name's Isabel Hiserodt. I'm also a college student. I'm a 21-year-old voter in Arizona's most competitive congressional district, Arizona District 1. So I know more than anyone how important these battlegrounds are this November and how important it is to turn out the youth vote this November. So when we talk about the youth vote, who exactly are we speaking about? While talking about youth engagement, youth activism, we're often speaking about young voters ages 18 to 29 years old, right? But what we often don't focus on is the fact that we have an entire new batch of eligible voters ready to be registered right at this moment. And as you can see, just with the states that we have participating on this call tonight alone, there are over 1.4 million new 18-year-olds who are registered to be ready to be registered to vote before the November election, which is incredible. So how do we do this? If we move on to the next slide, we can see that while young voters are notoriously do not have as high of turnout as other age demographic, they're actually the lowest age demographic when it comes to voter registration rates. They actually turn out so high at such high levels once they're registered to vote. In fact, 18 to 24-year-olds,
Can you please get quiet?
Once they're registered to vote, 86% of them actually turn out and get their ballot cast in November, which is amazing. So there's kind of this myth around the idea that young voters are apathetic or disinterested in civic engagement and casting their vote. But the issue really is that we need to meet them where they're at and make it easy to register to vote. And we'll see how we can do that right now. I personally, as a youth activist, have three main organizations that I like to refer people to when they're interested in registering people to vote, especially young voters to vote. So first up, we have the Civic Center, and I absolutely adore the Civic Center because they focus specifically on high school voter registration. Like I said before, when we talk about the youth electorate, we're often saying 18 to 29-year-olds or even 18 to 40-year-olds, which is fantastic. But the circumstances are super different for an 18-year-old to register and cast their ballot than a 29-year-old or a 40-year-old to register and cast their ballot, right? And the Civic Center understands the differences in these circumstances. So what they do is they train high schoolers to run voter registration drives in their own schools. That way they're making that peer-to-peer connection, and registering to vote becomes a fun activity among friends. Next, as we get a little bit older in the youth age demographic with college students like myself, I like to refer people to Next Gen America. Next Gen America is one of the largest youth organizations in the country, and they have a super strong presence at college campuses across the United States. I'm a student at Arizona State University, and I know that it's almost impossible for me to step on campus and get to class without being approached by a Next Gen volunteer asking me to register to vote, which I absolutely love. It's so great seeing such a strong presence there. And then finally, if you personally are interested in getting out in the field and registering any age demographic to vote, I highly recommend checking out Field Team 6. Field Team 6 is a volunteer army of people registering voters in our battleground states like Arizona, my home state. So they're a great way to get involved if you want to actually physically go out there and register any person to vote. Now, like we've all been saying today, we know that we can win this November, but we can't do that without the next generation of voters. So I hope you all can feel inspired today and help get the next generation of voters registered to vote and ready to cast their ballots. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
You. Oh my gosh, what a star. No, I was going to say, what a star. She is fabulous.
Wow. And those numbers, those statistics are so inspiring, so exciting. I actually took some notes there during that because I wasn't aware of a lot of that data. Are you still there, Amy? I'm sorry, Isabel, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
I loved what you said about Civic Center. I sometimes volunteer and support an organization called 1 in 10. And that is are you familiar with it?
Yeah, fantastic organization, but you should go ahead and describe for anyone who isn't familiar with them.
1 in 10 is an organization that serves our LGBTQ youth. At one time just in Phoenix, but now they have satellites all over the valley. And I'm going to reach out to their executive director and point them towards the Civic Center to engage their youth, because I love what you just said. I love that that turnout rate that you spoke about. And I love the way that you said, when you make it fun, you make it more relatable, and they'll encourage each other. So thank you for that little boost of energy. And it was Vote 411, where you could check your voter registration. Is that correct?
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. So thank you to Isabel. Thank you, y'all.
All right, so I guess I'll go next here. Now,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll jump right in. We will roll. We will roll. So let's talk about our next guest speaker. I have to tell you, I love, love, love her. I have been following her for years and years, and she is absolutely what a certain convicted felon would call a nasty woman. It's Amy Siskind. She's an activist, feminist, and author, and along with being all of that, she is a defender of democracy. Her activism focuses on women's rights, and she's an advocate for the LGBTQ community. And she's best known as the author of The Weekly List and as president of the New Agenda, a nonprofit dedicated to the advancement of women.
Thank you, Jen. And hi, Barbara. Thank you all for having me. I'm so excited. And I just happened to be in Provincetown right after the announcement. So we get the best garb in Provincetown. So I'm very excited. So hello, everyone. I wanted to say, as someone who covered Trump, unfortunately, daily for 4 years, very closely, his greatest weapon against us is fear. He wants us to be afraid. He wants us to think he's inevitable and that we should be living with dread and just be sure that he's going to take over. And I wanted to say what a gift it is to have Vice President Harris enter this race and pop that bubble and create this momentum and enthusiasm, because what did we learn? We know how to win. We know how to win in 2018, in 2020, in 2022, we exceeded expectations. And so we've done this before, and I just want to start from there, that this is something we know how to do, we know how to win. It won't be easy, we know that. We know that he has a lot to risk. Let's face it, if he loses, which he is going to lose, he's likely going to prison. He's likely going to lose all his businesses. He's going to have no money. He's not going to have the campaign donations to pay for all these legal fees. So he has a lot at stake, and he's going to get, as you see now, increasingly frantic and increasingly crazy. And that's where we all come in. So I want to invite you all to think about this exercise, that there are actually 85 days, because I'm the nerd that actually counts, who's counting me, how many days there are until this election. There are 85 days. And I want you all, this army of volunteers, to make a pledge today. And that is, on each of those 85 days, you're going to do one thing to help win this election. Let me tell you first how much is at stake and why this is important. You've heard of Project 2025. We started hearing about it in the beginning of the year. And then when the polls in July started to show that 54% of Americans knew about it, and of those, 44% were negative on it, suddenly Trump is trying to disassociate himself from it. But make no mistake, he tried to do many of these same things when I documented him the first time. He was trying to take apart our government from within. The thing that saved us were two things. One, he's incompetent. And number two, at that point, there were still some people around him who cared about our country, and they saved us. We can't let him get the second chance, because Project 2025 is a roadmap to accomplish deconstructing our government and our democracy. We, the people, need to stop him. Okay, so it is that important. We all need to put aside whatever we're doing and find time every single day to donate some time and effort. So in addition to the weekly list, I'm an activist, and I know we like action items. So I put together a list of some things that we can do each day. And other people that you're going to hear tonight are going to give other suggestions, so add that to your list. But I put together a few suggestions, starting from the easiest to the most time-consuming, and do what you can do. Give yourself permission. Some days are going to be awful. You're not going to be able to do anything. Maybe the next day you do too. Some days you're going to have extra time, so you can do even more. But put in that time every day. So here are some items. Post on social media. Now, you might not think social media matters that much. Let me tell you, it matters. I even went back on Twitter for this woman. Twitter is a cesspool. But it is only because of our activism on social media that we stopped this Swift boat attack against Walls. They were trying to do to him what they did to Karin. And the thing that stopped it is us all going on social media and saying, hold it, how about Trump, the 5-time draft dodger, and other pushback. So we can be amazingly effective on social media by fighting disinformation and by fighting, it's very easy to understand what they're doing because they all come up with the same lines. You know, it's the same thing repeated. You have to be there and push back and post positive, factual things. So post on social media, any of the platforms, wherever you are comfortable, all of the platforms if you're comfortable. Number 2, see friends and neighbors around town and remind them to make sure they are registered to vote. There's a website called vote.org that will allow you to do this. Also post it on your website. I get involved in a lot of elections, state, local, national. I can't tell you the number of people that like get to the polls and are like, oh, my registration lapsed. I moved, I didn't register right. Now is the time when you have enough time to make it right if it's not, to make sure you are registered to vote and remind everyone to do so. Number 3, mark your calendars for after Labor Day to send an email blast or text your friends to remind them to activate. Pretty much until Labor Day, things are pretty dead. I mean, for those of us that are here tonight, we're the hardcore. We are ready to go. They always say that the polling doesn't really matter till after Labor Day because the vast majority of Americans are not paying attention yet. And Kamala does not have a well-defined name with a lot of people in the country, nor does Wall. We need to be there to define it as people come back from Labor Day. The debates will do that. The Democratic Convention will do that. But we are the army on the ground that needs to also engage our friends, remind them to get engaged and involved. Remind them what we're talking about tonight and what's at stake. Number 4, volunteer for her campaign or for other organizations that are doing things at the grassroots level. And there are different ways that you can organize and donate your time each day. You can do text banking, which is super easy. You can do it anywhere where you are. You can do phone banking, which I've done phone banking parties too, where people come and phone bank. You can write postcards. There are many wonderful organizations that organize nationally or in swing states to write postcards. You can buy a lawn sign and bring them around and drive them around in your neighborhood. You can volunteer to drive people the day of early voting and regular voting to get to the polls. So those are all ways to start to think about donating your time each day. Number 6, make a reservation to travel to the swing states. Now, I know that most of you on this call tonight are on the West Coast. You can leave Pennsylvania to us. Believe me, everyone I know in New York, we all have our reservations. We're going to be there every weekend. Leave Pennsylvania to us. But within the Rust Belt, we need you in Wisconsin and Michigan if you can get there. And because she's doing so well, the Sun Belt is also in play. Even closer for those of you in Southern California to get to Arizona and Nevada. If you want to fly east, Georgia, and today North Carolina had a pullout that had them tied. So any of those 7 states, as someone else mentioned it before me, but the most effective way, if you're going to sort of rank things, the most effective thing you can do is knock on a door. So if you can get to a state, even if it's for a weekend, if you can rent a house on Airbnb and go for a week and take a week of vacation, God bless. Every vote counts. We know how close these elections are in those swing states in 2016 and 2020. And finally, post in your backyard or in your kitchen. It's a fun way to do it. I do it all the time with my friends. We all like grab some bottles of wine. We figure out a night to phone bank or to text bank, or we raise money. We do some activity together, enjoy each other's company. It's super important to have that camaraderie. Now, I just want to say, closing out, because I'm probably taking too much time here. I want to just leave you with a thought right now. We are at a high and they are at a low. 3 weeks ago, it was the exact opposite, which there's a lesson there. Things can shift. So the gift I want to give you tonight is anticipation, that there will be bumps and we're going to be ready for those bumps. When things go wrong, we redouble our efforts. We do not give up. And no matter what, for the next 85 days, we have our foot on the metal every single day. It's a very short time we've had to work. Usually these campaigns go on for 2 years. We didn't have to go through a big primary. We didn't have a year and a half of this. It's only 85 days. Okay, so when these things happen, do not get flustered, do not get scared. Just remember me telling you, it's going to be okay. If we put in the work, if we are there at the grassroots, we will win, or as Amy Klobuchar likes to say from Minnesota, win big. So thank you all for your time and your commitment to our democracy.
Wow, that is so much incredible information and so useful. And so we're appreciative of all that, because you know what you're talking about. You've done this. You know that when we do this, that it works.
It works. And it's on the ground. Listen, people, 77,000 are the number of votes Hillary lost by. Biden won by not many more. So every door you knock, every postcard you send, every text you send, it matters. You are the difference.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thank you for all that information. Thank you for sharing some time with us. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you.
Go girls.
Jen, I loved what she said about Donald Trump's superpower being inevitability and fear, because a couple of weeks ago, like before we had Tim announced, I had said to one of my friends, I said, wow, she has really minimized him in a way that no one else has been able to. Like when people have tried to out-Trump Trump, it hasn't worked. But by just sort of laughing at him, it has shown really how small and weak he is. So I love that she sort of zeroed in on that.
Totally.
We're very thrilled to introduce Karin Schall. You may not know who she is, but you've probably seen her work on social media. You've probably seen it on the news. You've probably seen it in print media. She's sort of known as Hell's Kitchen's sidewalk chalk artist. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, they're constantly awash in these ephemeral creations that she makes. And when I was doing a little more of a dive into her, I thought she is the definition of artist as citizen, citizen as artist. She is enraging people. She's inspiring people. She's really getting out there and doing the work. Her bio on Threads, it says she's an angry New York City gal. Chalking is her thing. Abortion for all. Don't be racist, which is a lot harder than a lot of people seem to understand. I'm sorry, a lot easier than a lot of people seem to understand. Ban guns, save democracy and the planet. Rise and resist and get on board.
Yes, and I will also tell you this, Karin has worked at an arts organization in New York City for over 25 years. And when she's not planning events or fundraising, she's actually out in the streets with Rise and Resist. And it's a nonviolent activist group. And they're out there making good trouble, right? And she's the president, by the way, of the board for AIS4.org. It's a nonprofit organization that advances reproductive rights and destigmatizes abortion care. She's also on the board of Projects with Care and the advisory board of the 52nd Street Project. So she's all over the place. She is out there making change happen with her feet. She's a proud resident of Hell's Kitchen, as you heard, and she never ever leaves home without a piece of chalk in her pocket. So please help us welcome Karin Schall.
Oh my gosh, Jen and Barbara, thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you for inviting me here tonight. I'm so honored to be part of this amazing group of folks who are here. And I can't believe I'm following Amy because I am a fangirl. And thanks to all of you who are on my Zoom, on the Zoom tonight. There's so much that we can do. I'm seeing the slides up now that need to do. And I loved Amy's list of things that we're able to do, that we need to do to get Kamala and Tim into the White House and make sure that Donald and the dangerous MAGAs don't return. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm the chalker of New York City. I chalk a lot. I've been called the chalktivist sometimes. And I didn't always start doing this. And no, I was never a teacher or truly an artist in the sense of what I would consider an artist. But during the Trump disaster, before I found my chalking voice, I needed a place to put my anger. So I started faxing and sending postcards to White House mailroom and Congress. And next slide, please. So I wrote postcards a lot and faxed a lot in the old days when there's fax machines. And then I found the folks who were part of Rise and Resist. They're a group of passionate, smart, creative activists, many of whom came from the ACT UP movement. And I learned so much from them every day. It was during a Save the Post Office campaign when I first chalked. Slide, please. It was a brilliant idea of one of my Rise and Resist colleagues to chalk. The top one up there is, I think, the first picture of me actually chalking. And boy, my handwriting has gotten a lot better since then. So it was someone's idea to chalk outside of post offices. It was during COVID, of course. And then I kept doing it. I loved it. For some reason, chalk spoke to me. So I chalked a lot in the months leading up to the 2020 election. Next slide, please. A lot. I went through a lot of boxes of chalk then. And then besides saving democracy, I'm passionate about reproductive rights and destigmatizing abortion. Next slide, please. As well as gun control. Next slide, please. But I do try to balance my anger and outrage with the occasional positive messaging. Next slide, please. So besides coming up with pithy, chalkable messages, I love having conversations with people when I chalk, and because of threads following now, people ask me for pointers. So here are some chalking pointers. Let's unslide. Thanks. Okay, so here's some chalking pointers. As you can see, I am a white woman of a certain age, and I have no more fucks to give. So I understand that comes with privileges. But if you want to chalk, before you chalk, know your local vandalism laws, know what's private versus public property. Not everyone is going to like what you're writing, so be prepared for confrontation. I never chalk wearing headphones, and I'm always aware of my surroundings. It helps to write out your message in advance for spelling and spacing and grammar. Some sidewalks, believe it or not, are better than others, and there are places to write besides sidewalks. Personally, I love doing messages in crosswalks, but be aware of light changes. And I also love the occasional building shed. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, what kind of chalk do I use? And I love Dixon Railroad chalk. It comes in a box of 72, and you can order it from a restaurant supply store. And then there's always good old-fashioned Crayola sidewalk chalk as well. And I always have flushable wipes or a bandana in my bag because chalking is, well, chalk. I realize chalking isn't for everyone, and there's so many creative people out there doing their own thing. Next slide, please. Next one, there you go. I suspect everyone here knows about voting blue rocks on the left. They'll mail you a box of beautifully painted rocks with messages on them for you to place strategically in your town. They're a West Coast operation. Diana Weimer and her Tiny Pricks project continues to inspire me. And of course, my Rise and Resist pals are always coming up with some good trouble. That's in the subway of New York. Perhaps if you come visit, you'll see them. Look up. So I encourage all of you to do your own thing, to find your people, to tap into your creativity. Next slide, please. We'll have less than 3 months, and we're all in this together. As Tim Waltz says, we'll sleep when we're dead. So I hope to see you all in DC in January 20th as we celebrate President Kamala Harris and Vice President Tim Waltz and our future. I'll bring the chalk. Let's do this. Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Karin, I always think in terms of branding and t-shirts. Do you have a shirt that says "Go Chalk Yourself"?
No, but Barbara, I will now. Thanks.
That's my gift to you. There you go. Go chalk yourself, and you can make that your thing. I love the phrase "chalk spoke to me," and I love how you inspire people to find whatever speaks to them, because chalk isn't for everybody. My back is too bad. I can't be bent over chalking all day. I can't be doing all that. We're so thrilled to have you here, and I've been such a fan of your work.
Thank you so much. I'm really delighted and honored to have been asked to come tonight. So thanks.
Thank you.
What's your Instagram, Karin?
It's the same as my thread. It's just my full name. I don't hide under anything. It's Karin Schall all together. Instagram, Threads, Facebook.
I saw that Betty Buckley follows you, and I was so jealous.
I'll make the introduction, Barbara.
There you go. And can you tell us one more time, who sends the rocks?
Voting Blue Rocks.
Oh, so good. I am ordering immediately.
They're wonderful. They're actually on the call tonight. I told them that I was going to be giving them a shout out, and they were registering. So thank you, all you Voting Blue Rocks people, or make your own. They give you instructions. You can make your own, but leave them in places. They're amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Karin. We appreciate you. For all of you watching, the whole idea behind this event here was to give you actionable things to do. And we hear from people all the time that they want to get involved, they just don't know how. And Karin is a perfect example of figuring out what feels good to you. You got an entire list from Amy of different things that you might want to do that you could just add into your day for the next 85 days. And this is a perfect idea for all of us, whether it's through getting those rocks or getting your chalk and getting out there, putting up a post every day, whatever it is. The whole idea is we want you to be involved, however it fits your life. Now, the next speaker, I have to tell you, so I totally fangirled when we were all putting this together, and I started thinking of all of the people I love the most on social media, and I got several of them to agree to do this. You've already met some already. This next person, I am so excited to introduce you to, and so many of you are gonna go, oh my God, I follow her already. So I have been a massive fan of hers. I follow her on every social platform, and her name is Chasing Oz. She's a political comedian and best-selling author. She's also a travel host, and she brings her fans on trips with her around the world. I'm coming next time. And we see her really as an all-around badass. If you follow her, we all are in love with her take on just about everything. And I even heard that she's a Disney adult. So
wow, a Disney adult. Those people they are their own thing. She uses her unique voice to bring politics, pop culture, current events, and she reaches hundreds of thousands of followers, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, with 36 million likes. How do you get 36 million likes, Chasing Oz?
God, I wish I knew. I still cannot figure out how this has become my life. I am so excited to be here with everybody tonight. Who's excited for the first female president of the United States? Because I know I am hyped, guys. Gosh, this is just so wild to me. There are so many things that we can do on a daily basis going into this election that you can do, that I can do, that you can share on social media. Make sure you encourage all of your friends to check their voter registrations in places like where I live here in Florida. I know I'm not a West Coast lady, but so many of my followers are West Coast based and wanted to hear and just get involved in one of the Zoom calls. But as somebody who was raised by a mother who had not one but two children by the time she was 17 in a pre-Roe era, long before I came into the picture, I was raised by her to understand and just see the importance of having choice in our day-to-day lives and how important that is for us. And as a mother of a 13-year-old daughter and two boys, knowing that my daughter will grow up with less rights than I did at this point has completely enraged me, which I'm sure that everybody else here is kind of on the same page with that. But using social media is so important going into the election because that is the one thing that they can't take away from us. Taking the videos, sharing the messages, resharing the Instagram stories or the reels or the TikToks or downloading the TikToks and sharing them onto other platforms, going to people like, Under the Desk News and reputable sources that are going to bring you the news without giving you what the news pundits want you to see. I know that a lot of us are starting to get really, sad and just distraught by some of the mainstream channels that we used to go to for messaging. And now that we have avenues like TikTok, it has made sharing this messaging, organizing, getting involved in your local community. I know I'm here in Florida. Florida's in play. People want to pretend like it's not, and nobody wants to understand that it is. But let me tell you, when I went to my Democrats meeting for my local just community town here in a very, very, very red county, there was no parking 5 minutes before the meeting Thursday night. There were so many people there, they didn't have enough chairs. People are energized, and it's so important that you stay involved. Go check your voter registration. Go get your friends and family to make sure that they're registered to vote.
I love what you said about sharing to social media, because it seems like such a small thing, and you wonder if anybody sees it or hears it, or if you're just shouting it to the wind. I was listening to a podcast on my way here, and I heard this expression that I thought was so interesting. They said that Twitter has become the assignment desk for all journalists, that people go to Twitter to find out what people are talking about. People, like little scandals pop up there, little memes. The memification of Tim Walz is one of the things that has propelled this movement so well. So using that social media, you just never know what's going to take off. You never know what's going to
believe me, that's the story of my life at this point. I still have no idea how I'm here.
And be willing to talk to people that you know about what's going on. For so long, over the last 8 years, so many of us have just blocked people, unfriended them, not had the conversations. And we need to get back to having those conversations, because
facts matter.
Yes. And it's all black and white, and it's so clear. And the gaffes and the gaps between these two people are so enormous that we're starting to see that shift. And that's exactly what you saw in that meeting that you were talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
I love what you said about talking to people. Again, you're right, because my block list is exhaustive, and I should probably get off my high horse.
Ridiculous. I know. Well, thank you. Oh, sorry.
I have a question for Chasing Oz real fast. I'm not on TikTok. I'm afraid I'm too old. So quick question, true or false? If you were in the AOL chat rooms, you don't belong on TikTok?
False. Most of my followers are 55 and older.
So there's a space for me?
The bulk of the people. Oh, there are so many. Let me tell you, the least amount of followers that I have on my platform are the 18 to 24-year-olds. Over half of my platform is made up of women over the age of 45.
That's it. I'm joining. Will you follow me?
Absolutely. I'll be your first follower.
I want to tell you too, that the largest demographic on TikTok, it just came out in the news, like within the last 2 or 3 months, Gen X.
Do you TikTok, Jen?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Chasing Oz. What a pleasure to share this with you.
Anytime. Thank you for having me so much.
Bye.
So the continuing theme of this stream is me geeking out at this opportunity. And so I'm going to continue because I'm so excited. I've lived in Arizona way over half of my life, and I'm such a proud Phoenician. And when I grew up in Tempe, I remember taking the bus into Phoenix to walk around and see the city. And when other kids were skipping school to go to the mall, I was going to the Capitol or City Hall. And so I can't believe that I get to introduce the 62nd mayor of Phoenix. She has been our mayor since 2019. She's a member of the Democratic Party, yes, God, and previously served on the city council from 2014 to 2018. She's the second female mayor in Phoenix history and one of the youngest mayors of the big cities here in the United States. She's backed by progressives, unions, the Arizona Republic Editorial Board, liberal advocacy organizations like Emily's List, Sierra Club, Planned Parenthood, and Advocates of Arizona.
And in 2020, Kate Gallego ran for re-election. In November 2020, she was returned to office with the highest number of votes ever cast in a mayoral election. So if you had a chance, any of you out there, to watch Friday's Harris Walz rally in Phoenix, you saw her light up the room with 15,000 people in that audience. And now she's going to do this for us. Welcome, Mayor Kate Gallego.
Jen, Barbara, thank you so much. It is good to be with so many friends, many of whom were with me for our record-setting Harris rally, the largest political event we think we've had in Arizona history, and the energy was incredible. So many people of every background were there to propel our vice president into the White House, to make history, electing the first woman to the White House and a fellow West Coast woman. I am honored that I get to serve on the National Advisory Board for the Harris campaign and trying to work with all of you to have a lot of fun while we win big over the next 85 days. Although the vice president keeps reminding us, we got to act like we're behind, knock on every door, do the work, and not take anything for granted. We are incredibly excited about the vice president, but we need to make sure that everyone gets a chance to feel that excitement. For us here in Arizona, we know what is at stake. We are a state that, because of Donald Trump appointing Supreme Court justices, we ended up with the Civil War era abortion ban with no exceptions, and he seemed pleased. We're a state with fake electors cheered on by Donald Trump wanting to overturn a fair election. But we're also motivated by what's so incredible about the Biden-Harris administration and wanting to continue that record. I am very lucky. I got to spend International Women's Day with Vice President Harris, who was talking about what she's going to do to protect women's reproductive health and healthcare generally, whether it be protect the Affordable Care Act and what it does for birth control, or just make sure we have access to reasonable medical information. She also met with some of the Navajo women in Arizona who are building semiconductor plants right now. Because of the Biden-Harris administration, there are women, their first year out of high school, making $95,000 building the future of our country. And the administration has made those policies friendly to families. So as we invest in semiconductors, advanced manufacturing, childcare is part of that, which never used to be at the table during these important conversations about defense policy or manufacturing. But now we're saying we want families to be able to access these benefits. And so childcare has to be part of the deal. What they've accomplished so far is just a sneak peek of what we will get under the Harris administration. And I'm so excited to make history. So I wanted to be with you here today, 85 days out, but work every day so that I can wake up and feel like I was part of it. We have heard great suggestions about what you want to do, and let's all be happy on November 6th. Let's not wake up and wish we had done more. People have talked a lot about door knocking, which is the most important thing you can do, talking to your friends and neighbors, going on social media right after this. The campaign is opening up offices in every corner of Arizona, from small military communities to urban Phoenix. That takes money, and so please donate to the campaign and help them move forward. Host a fun event. If you know some great musicians, do a concert. If you're into the arts, let's get some of the best actors together and do an event. They can be virtual or in person. You can also mark the calendar for some big upcoming events. So we will have the convention a little over a week from today. We'll have a great opportunity to celebrate President Biden's legacy. He deserves so much credit for what he's done, and the stronger he is, the more momentum we have for the next election. But I think we're almost looking forward to the Harris speech, where she will share her vision and tell us more about herself. Have a party on Thursday night, amplify what is happening, write letters to the editor, again, post on social media, invite some new voters. If you know an 18-year-old or a 17-year-old who will be 18 by election day, invite them in to watch and be part of that history together. Mark your calendar for the upcoming presidential debates as well. September 10th will be here before we know it. We remember how disrespectful Trump was to Hillary Clinton. We got to have Vice President Harris's back for those debates and make sure that she gets the credit for what she delivers, but that also, if there's any unfair behavior, and we expect there will be, that we have her back in that area. So I'm so thankful to all of you for doing what you're doing. If you are in a state that is solidly in one direction, we would love you to take a victory road trip out to Arizona. We think November 5th, we will have very excellent weather, and we'd love to have your help knocking doors. And if you're in Arizona, I will see you out there door knocking. I would also urge people to remind voters the entire ballot matters. We need President Harris to have a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House. We also know that school boards make a huge difference, and some of the same agenda from the Donald Trump allies is being played out at every level of government. So we'd encourage you to vote the entire ballot. In many of our states, we have really important ballot propositions that can determine everything from wage rates to whether we fund the bus system. So we want to give Vice President Harris, when she becomes President Harris, as much partnership and momentum as possible. And that's allies at every level of government. And I think there are a few women on here who have stepped up to run yourselves. And so thank you for being part of the great moment. May this be an incredible historic year, and let's get it done.
I love it. I love what you said about you want to see us make history, but I want to brag on Phoenix just a little bit. I want to brag on Arizona just a little bit, because we are in history because we've got 3 incredible, badass Democrat women running things. You know, we have the fantastic Chris Mays, we got Katie Hobbs, and of course we have the mayor of Phoenix, Kate Gallego. We are so thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you for your ideas and inspiration.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Kate.
Our next speaker, our next speaker is Rachel Bitecofer, and she's had her finger on the pulse of American elections for a while now, known as the Election Whisperer. The Election Whisperer, she's had stunning success predicting various paths to victory on national and state level elections.
Yeah, for years, she's been called the Democratic candidate, calling on Democratic candidates to lean in to being Democrats and stop being, you know, the party who's behind, the one who is really falling behind, lagging behind, not strong enough. She wants us to lean in. Her most recent book, that's called Hit Them Where It Hurts, has been described as a must read on how to learn how to beat Republicans at their own game. So I am so excited. Again, another person I followed for years and years. I'm excited to have you all meet Rachel Bitecofer.
Hey, I'm excited to meet all of you. I'm really excited to be here tonight, and let me tell you why. And you guys know me from the election forecasting stuff, and now I work strategy for Democrats, but I still can forecast, and I'm here to tell you that switch has ignited a civic renaissance in the electorate. Why? Because fair or not, the electorate wanted something from Democrats. They wanted a different candidate. And when we gave it to them in a serendipity manner and everyone coalesced around Kamala Harris, it has just really, really inspired people. So Joe Biden deserves a huge shout out for that Washington-esque move. And we would not be in the position we're in today. I can't tell you how much easier it is to be me right now, because I would go on to things and try to explain, well, look, yes, this polling is tight, but Labor Day is coming and the election doesn't start. And although, you know, it's hard to get people to accept that, I had to write a whole book. And that front half of the book is all about getting people like us, especially in August, who are on a Zoom in August politically, to realize what freaks we are informationally. We are not normal people at all. Other normal people don't do this. They're busy camping and fishing and doing other things in the summer. And so it's really important for us to meet the electorate where it is. And, you know, our strategy has to be bringing them up to speed, right? So I'm so relieved that we've had this dynamic change. And now I just want people to recognize how powerful and good of a position that we find ourselves in. It's going to take coming out of the convention to have really good data, because we're kind of ahead of the data a little bit. You know, 538 is going to release their model. And when they do, it's going to have an inversion, right? It was pro-Trump and now it's going to be pro-Harris. And my assumption is we're going to have this polling margin of error size polling advantage coming out of the convention. And what that means is we got to get off this posture of weakness. We should be feeling hungry, right? We've been on this. I just put a blog post out today about this. we've been in this defensive posture. Can we hold Montana? Can we hold Ohio? Right? Like, are they, you know, now we have to go on the aggressive, you know, the offense, and especially here on the West Coast. So I'm really glad the theme of this Zoom is action oriented, because I want to talk to you guys specifically about Arizona and Nevada and the historic opportunity that we have in those two states to wedge the abortion initiative, tie it to Republican politicians up and down the ballot in that state, including Donald Trump, and then get people, because we know people are going to vote for this initiative. We've seen it in Kansas, right? So we know it's going to be a 63, 65, maybe even higher, since they went civil war on you guys. 75% of the electorate is going to vote to codify abortion. We have to make sure that those people aren't voting for Republican politicians at the same time. So read the book so you can understand what's going on with the electorate. Why doesn't it react to the things that we're reacting, and how that structures how you talk and what you do with voters. So we really want to see very strategic campaigns in Nevada and Arizona, if you can get to those two states, or do remote volunteer work in those states. It should be, you know, a really good environment for us because of the abortion initiative, if we wedge it and get all the political capital out of it. The book will talk a little bit about how to do that, right? It's not something that happens by accident. Voters, because we are not typical, regular voters don't know. They think, some people think Joe Biden, if they know about the abortion bans at all, they think it had something to do with the presidency. That's their level of comprehension of the government, right? So unless we tell them, Kerry Lake abortion ban, you know, State House Rep John Smith abortion ban, we are not going to get those votes. We're going to see people vote to codify abortion and then send simultaneously David Schweikert and CD1 back to Congress. The man has sponsored the Life at Conception Act 6 times. That's 6 national abortion bans if you're counting. So we really need them to own their extremism, and it's going to take a coordinated effort. So that's where I'm really glad to be talking to you guys tonight about that, and how we can get on the offensive posture, because this could be a historic night for Democrats. And I'm so excited that not only might we be able to save democracy, which has been, you know, something that we've all been freaking out about a lot. Not only that, but we might be able to reset the entire political equation in the United States. We might be able to force the Republican Party to come to terms with what has happened with their MAGA coalition. And, you know, we need to be making progress in this country. We've been in a policy stasis since the Republicans adopted obstruction in 2010 and have been using it ever since. We need to roll them over electorally. If we do that, then we're going to have power, and with power, we can represent people. So read the book. Campaign on abortion, abortion, abortion. It's the one issue they don't want to talk about. So talk about it incessantly, and especially in Nevada, Florida, and Arizona.
Oh my gosh, you are amazing. With power, we can represent the people. I knew you would totally kill it, Rachel. I am such a huge fan, and I knew you'd come in and deliver, and that was just brilliant. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You had me, Rachel, like leaning into I was like, I want more of this. I want more of this. I loved what you said about tying those candidates to their positions and owning that extremism. And I want to tie that back to what Karin said earlier about social media. So, I mean, that's another actionable thing that we can do. Get on Facebook, get on Threads, get on Instagram, and share those. Hey, this is how David Schweikert is about abortion. Like you said, cross-pollinate those two messages, and we can take over the world.
Totally.
Exactly.
And one other thing I will also say is that, you know, when I was running campaigns or when I was working a nonprofit, it was always about time, treasure, and talent, right? What can you contribute? Not everybody has the time to be able to knock doors or write cards or get out and chalk on the street, but some people have the ability to do things differently. Maybe it's through social media, maybe it's through donating. In fact, we haven't talked about donating through any of this. If we can get a donation link set up in the chat, that would be great. But the point of all of this is that we all have to donate however we can, whether that's time, treasure, or talent, right? And it's about getting out there and doing the work somehow, however that looks for you.
And it's different for everybody. So whatever you got, you know, make it work. We're very thrilled and honored to have the West Coast for Women for Kamala creator, Barbra Schwartz. She is here, and Barbra has spent more than 20 years in enterprise software sales and marketing, but her true passion, like a lot of us here, is serving her community. In 2020, faced with pandemic and the threat of barbaric policies, she knew it was time to roll up her sleeves and put her experience to work.
You know, and also Barbra has helped grow an online grassroots group and launched weekly phone banks for Biden and Kelly that gained attention from candidates and officials all over our community. And over the past 4 years, she's managed campaigns and assisted candidates at all levels and supported policy initiatives. And now, as we're facing a really crucial election, another crucial election, Barbra feels that same fear of what another 4 years with 45 might bring, right? And as one of the Pantsuit Nation Arizona leads, who I love and depend on daily, she's determined to work with all of us to elect the strongest candidates up and down the ballot. So everybody, welcome the founder of West Coast Women for Kamala, Barbra Schwartz.
Jen, thank you. And thank you, Barbra, so much and thank everyone for being here tonight. I am absolutely thrilled to see so many of you joining us. Every minute has been just more incredible than the next. You guys have helped me put together such an incredible panel. I really appreciate it. I never dreamed when I first suggested this to you and Jeremy that it would just grow into this, and it's just unbelievable. If you'll bear with me a moment, I know you shared a little bit of my story, but I want to share a little bit more. My own journey started back in 2006. I was just dipping my toes in the water of campaign volunteering, doing some canvassing, doing some phone banking, moving furniture around at events. I had experience volunteering with other organizations, but like you said, it wasn't really until 2020 when the stakes felt higher than ever that I dove into the political waters. I was stuck at home like all of you during lockdown, fearful of what the next 4 years might bring. And I knew I had to do something. And that's when I joined a virtual phone bank, Jewish Women for Joe, which is now Jewish Women for Kamala. I hadn't phone banked in years, but with 20 years of sales experience, I quickly found my footing, and all the tools and the scripts that they give you when you phone bank make it so easy. So after that phone bank, I was like, this is easy. With all this experience, I can do this. With the support of friends and community leaders and other activists, I reached out to a friend who was working at the Biden campaign in Arizona. And before I knew it, I was recruiting volunteers and kicking off phone banks, introducing elected officials every Wednesday leading up to the campaign for about 6 weeks in 2020. Together, we made thousands of phone calls. And while we were just one piece of that puzzle, we helped make history by getting Biden elected here in Arizona by just 10,457 votes. So don't ever forget that every vote does count. This has been an incredible journey. I haven't done any of this alone. I have incredible friends, old and new, who supported me every step of the way. Tonight's event is a testament to collective efforts of many people, including Jen and Jeremy, who assured me that this was not a crazy idea. And the next person I texted after them was Mayor Kate Gallego, who also told me, this is a great idea. We should do this. I'm in. This is what community looks like. This is what Pantsuit Nation is all about. As this call evolved into what we created today, we realized something amazing. Our Pantsuit chapters needed to unite with each other as well as other organizations to come together and ensure that we're winning up and down the ballot. And guess what? Better timing there could be. Pantsuits are back in fashion and bursting with passion. So with that in mind, we have launched a brand new Pantsuit Nation group for all who support Kamala Harris, and it is ready for you. We just launched it today. I encourage you to all join and contribute. The link should hopefully be for the new group should be in the chat now. We have fresh pages for your energy and your ideas, and we can't wait to see what you're going to bring. Our goal is to unite members of all the different Pantsuit chapters under one banner, and we look forward to bringing everyone back together online so we continue to ride this amazing wave of energy that we're all feeling tonight. It's going to be a great new place to have fun sharing memes and photos and videos, but more importantly, to share with others how you are getting involved on the ground and to invite other people to join you, which is really all the purpose of this call tonight. Check the chat for the link or search Pantsuit Nation Groups. Again, that's Pantsuit Nation Groups on Facebook and request to join. Let's keep this momentum going. I'm here today surrounded by all of you, incredible group of brilliant women. And now looking at all of you, I want you to know that you matter, your voice matters, what you do matters. Every text, every phone call, every door knock, every voter registered, and every vote cast can make a difference. And don't ever doubt that you can do even more, because that's how change happens. That's how movements are built. And that's how we've all ended up here together, ready to ensure a positive future for our country and for ourselves. One more call to action before I wrap up. If you go to vote411.org, and that should also get dropped in the chat, there is a place there where you can make a plan to vote. While each of us is important, it is not just about us as individuals. It's about coming together, building community, motivating each other. There is strength in numbers. When we stand together, we empower each other to do more, to reach higher, build bigger, and achieve what otherwise looks impossible. That's why we're here tonight. We've come full circle from supporting Hillary in 2016 to rallying behind Kamala Harris in 2024. It has been an interesting 8 years, but it is incredible how far we've come. And I know now, even more than I did then, that we are ready. We are ready to elect the first woman to the office of the President of the United States. And in reality, we are long overdue. So let's keep this energy alive, and let's take bold action, and let's continue to make history together. Thank you all so much for being here.
You are awesome. You are amazing. And I will also tell everybody, Pantsuit Nation chapters is what you're looking for. Our goal is to get you all one link so that we're not giving you links for all of the states or links for all of the different groups. We have different segments of Pantsuit, whether you're talking about military, Pantsuit Nation military, Pantsuit Nation expats, Pantsuit Nation educators. There are all sorts of groups. So if you land in, look for Pantsuit Nation chapter or chapters, you will be able to be linked. We're going to put a huge list in there so that you can find your home group. Like you just heard Barbara say, it's about getting involved. And it may sound like a crazy idea, but the next thing you know, in 8 days, you've got thousands and thousands of people watching what we're doing right now. And all of these incredible people who are making a difference. And this all happened in 8 days because she had this idea. So way to go, Barbara.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's really a testament to using your time and making your time count. I mean, that's just incredible. Who's up next?
So from one founder to another, we have the Leah Greenberg, who is the co-founder and co-executive director of the Indivisible project. So if you've heard of Indivisible, here is your co-founder. Along with her co-founder and spouse, Ezra Levin, Leah has been featured as one of Time 100's most influential people of 2019. Unbelievable.
That's big. That's big. She was also included on GQ's Most Powerful People in Trump's Washington, ranked number 2 on the Politico 50 top list of top thinkers, doers, and visionaries. And she's the co-author of We Are Indivisible, A Blueprint for Democracy After Trump. It's published by Simon & Schuster's One Signal Publishers in 2019. So thrilled to welcome her to the screen. Our special guest and co-founder of the Indivisible Project, Leah Greenberg. Hello, Leah.
Hi there. Hello. It's wonderful to be here with you all tonight. And it is wonderful to be coming together for this incredible moment. We're going to make history together. We've got 86 days left until we collectively put the first Black woman, the first South Asian woman, the first female president in the White House. And we're going to do it together. And calls like this are what we're going to look back on and tell our kids about, because they are all part of the process of making that history together. So I'm going to talk to you about something that, if you know Indivisible, you know is really close to our heart, which is making sure that as we see this wave, as we see all of these people all over the country who are so excited, we're actually organizing all of those people into taking action. We are at Indivisible have launched a program called Women Wednesdays for Harris. It came out of the White Women Answer the Call Zoom, which was done in response to the viral Win with Black Women call. organizing women, and white women in particular, but really all women going forward. We want to have it to be a space for everyone to stand up and get organized in order to make sure that we make Kamala Harris president and we give her the congressional majorities that she is going to need, and to give you tangible actions and ways to organize in order to make that happen. So every Wednesday from now on, we are having an evening call where you can join if you want to practice, if you want to figure out concrete ways to take action, if you want to figure out what you can do right now to elect Kamala Harris, if you want to have fun with some special guests. Last week we had Ashley Judd and Busy Phillips on, as well as Mayor Wu and Amy Klobuchar, and we had some cool training and exciting stuff. So come and join us. I'm going to talk about the first thing that we talked about there, which is, next slide, the first action that we're asking people to take, forming an action team, an All In for Harris action team. Now, what is that? An All In for Harris action team sounds a little intimidating. It sounds kind of formal, but it's actually really just any group of people who are committed to electing Kamala Harris. So we're coming together. We're trying to make sure, that could be a Facebook page that you make for your town. You could ask your book club members to join you. You could invite 5 of your friends to a group chat. If you are part of an existing grassroots group, I know Pantsuit Nation chapters, I know there's some Indivisibles on the call. I know a lot of you organize in real life. This could be a team that lives within your existing group where you're bringing in new members who are excited about Vice President Harris. The most important thing is getting started wherever you are and with whatever you got. So next slide. Why do we ask people to form these teams? 1, teams let us do more. There are more people who are excited about Vice President Harris right now than are taking action to elect Vice President Harris. We want to find those people. We want to put them to work. 2, teams help us reach more people. You could do a phone banking shift next week, or you could find 5 people who might not otherwise take action and ask them to join you and start taking action. And within a couple of weeks, you're going to have so much more activity, so many more voters contacted by virtue of having organized those people. We also know that people who take action together are more likely to keep taking action because it is fun, because you keep each other accountable like gym buddies. And then finally, there's a strategic reason. We know that local messengers are some of the most effective things that can happen in politics. The kinds of voters that we have to reach for this election, they're often low information voters. They're often low trust voters. They might not trust politicians or ads, but they might trust a colleague or a neighbor or a local group of volunteers. So for us to be successful, we got to build that army of local messengers, and that's where the groups come in. Now, you might be wondering, if I ask my friends to do this, what are we actually going to do? The answer is a lot, but it'll look different based on where you are, what you're comfortable with. If you join us on Women Wednesdays, every week we will ask you to take actions and train you on how to do them. Next week, for example, we're going to talk about hosting a convention house watch party and how to talk to your neighbors about Kamala if you're door knocking. And every step of the way, we're going to try and help connect you with resources on how to organize your group, how to get advice, and how to get plugged in and get new and impactful opportunities. Now, I want to just be clear. I'm gonna take advantage of this moment that having you all on this call and say, I want you to take this action right now. I don't want you to get off this call. If you're thinking about it, I don't want you to get off this call and do it, say, I'll do it tomorrow. Actually do it right now. We're putting in the chat some different texts that you could send to connect people that you know to get them hooked into either your current group, whichever group you organize with, or start a new action team for Harris. Here are a couple of different slide prompts that you can take and just grab them from the chat box and literally send it out to 5 friends, 5 colleagues, 5 neighbors tonight, right now. You can do this. It's you get that conversation started, see what they say. If those people say yes, you put them together in a group chat and introduce them to each other, or you add them to your existing group. And then if you are doing this, you can go to here. Next slide. Great. You can see this QR code. You can go register with us as well if you are interested. And we will make sure that you get support, you get resources, you get somebody who you can talk to if you've got questions on the other line. So go ahead and scan that QR code if you are interested and you are already doing this, or you would like to be doing this and you'd like someone to help support. Next. So with all that said, if you are doing this already, congratulations, you are an organizer. With all that said, I'm going to switch gears and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how where you are affects what you need to do. So what you have here ahead of me, or on top, or right here, is a map of battleground targets. These are the targets that the presidential campaign currently considers to be the competitive states on the path to 270. The gray states are the ones that, based on the Electoral College, will likely decide the outcome of the election. It's really down to 6 states. Minnesota, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, which for some reason is actually light red on this slide. With Georgia considered a little bit of a toss-up and Minnesota considered a little bit of a toss-up. Those are the presidential states. Next slide. All right, and then in addition to that, we actually have a much broader set of Senate and congressional targets because we have to not only elect Vice President Harris, we have to give her majorities in the Senate and the House. That means that there are actually a bunch of different places where if you are in these states, you have an important role to play. There are competitive, if you look at this map, if you look at the gray spots, there are competitive Senate or congressional district races in all of these states. And actually, the places with the most House districts that we need to flip are California and New York. So I don't want to hear from California and New York people, oh, I live in a safe state. There's nothing I can do. There is something that you can do that is super important for Vice President Harris's success in your backyard, most likely. And if not, then we're going to talk about that next. Next slide. So there is something that you can do wherever you are. Your tactics may look different based on where you live. In battleground targets, we're going to focus on what can you do in person that really taps into your local networks, that taps into your position, the fact that you are on the ground, the fact that you can go knock doors and have conversations with people in person where they have to look at you and talk to you. And then for remote and travel folks, we're going to talk about what can you do in terms of either traveling to one of those places or in terms of digital or remote voter contact. So those are the kinds of tactics that we would encourage folks to consider based on where you are, depending on if you've got the opportunity to be on the ground or if you're going to be doing this remotely. But wherever you are, there is something you can do. And the most important thing is to get started. So again, if you have not already asked some friends who you know are interested but not yet involved to get involved, however you are doing your work, please go ahead and do that. And if this was interesting to you and you'd like to join us, please tune in for the next Women Wednesdays because we are excited to make history and we are excited to do it together.
Incredible, incredible, incredible. Like you said, the most important thing is get started. It's the most important, but often the most difficult.
Exactly. Exactly.
Give me an idea. How do you get started? How do you inspire a coworker or a friend?
So most people don't get asked to take action, right? Like that's actually the single most important predictor is have you asked someone to do something, right? So for example, if you've got some friends who are maybe interested, invite them to come over and watch Vice President Harris at the convention in a week and a half. Say, hey, do you want to, we're going to make some Kamala themed cocktails. We're going to have drinks, we're going to watch, we're going to celebrate. And then after that, we're going to talk about what we can do to elect Vice President Harris, whether that is door knocking locally, whether that is a phone banking, joining a phone banking or text banking party. You actually just kind of ease people in. So it's really about simply making that first ask and breaking the ice. And, you know, does it feel a little bit like you're stepping out of your comfort zone? Yeah, but actually a lot of people appreciate it and they'll take you up on it.
That's so true. And I found that to be the case that most people want to help. They don't want to start the project, but they want to chip in. And so, like you said, bring them on in. Thank you so much, Leah. That's some incredible information. And you made it very easy to digest and to understand because, you know, a lot of us, this isn't what we do. And you can be intimidated and, you know, just sort of get scared away from it. So thank you for making it so accessible.
Happy to be here.
Thank you, Leah. All right, Barbara, I have to tell you, my phone is blowing up. So we're getting donations, we're getting people who are joining the group, we're getting people who are texting saying they're watching, they can't wait to do the neighbor to neighbor. So good things are happening because my phone, I can't keep up on it in the background. And so in fact, I will even add to make sure that we've got the neighbor to neighbor link in the chat, that we've got the donation link in the chat. This is directly to the Harris campaign. So please know that we are wanting to do our part here, West Coast Women, and my phone's blowing up. So something good is definitely happening. Now we do have another speaker and I'm excited to, I don't think you've actually met her in person yet here. So this is cool. We've got Susan Bolle, who is a grassroots leader from Marin County, California, who's been a volunteer leader for 4 presidential campaigns and 4 midterms, along with many state and local elections.
She's been organizing volunteers and leading phone banks, canvassing movements, and trainings for 16 years. She led the Marin County campaign call hubs for the Clinton and Biden campaigns, co-founder and leader of the Bay Area Coalition. She's serving her 3rd term as California Democratic Party delegate, a vice chair of the CADEM Organizing Committee and a member of the Marin County Democratic Central Committee, a DNC convention delegate for the third time, and truly proud to be a delegate for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Welcome to your screens. This is Susan Bolle. Hello, Susan.
Hi, it's so great to be with you. You're such great moderators. Thank you. So it's really great to be here today with all of you happy warriors. Here's my collector's item from my 2020 presidential candidate, Kamala. I just want to say that I'm here as a grassroots leader, but I am so honored to be going to the Democratic Convention next Sunday as an elected California delegate for Kamala. So when you get your friends together for a convention watch party, because Kamala is from Oakland, California, you're going to get to see our California delegation front and center on the convention floor. You know, Kamala is the first presidential nominee in history from California. It's hard to believe. And the first West Coast woman nominee. So with me tonight is my friend and fellow grassroots leader, Emiliana Guereca. She's a Latina organizer and entrepreneur from Los Angeles. She's the founder and executive director of Women's March Action. And we're going to spotlight her. There she is. And so she's leading the organization to build women's political power and to increase their representation in government. And Women's March Action provides education, training, and outreach for grassroots activists to engage in elections. And in the 2024 election, she and her team are making sure Latina voters are mobilized to the polls. And she's also one of my Bay Area Coalition partner leaders. So my first slide, it's all about the Bay Area Coalition. Coalitions are really powerful. And as Kamala says, we're still the underdog. But with all of you taking action after we all heard from Leah about the actions you can take, and with your grit and your energy and stepping up with groups like Indivisible and the Bay Area Coalition and our partners here today, we can produce the margin of effort, we like to say, that we need to win. So in our case, in this powerful coalition, we have 50 grassroots groups. We all came together, the Bay Area swing lefts, Indivisible, sister districts, county Democratic parties, and the California Democratic Party, and one of our most important partners, the Harris-Walz campaign. So on the next slide, here are ways you can take action. So we're a national phone bank hub for Kamala, and all of our phone banks feature our experienced coaches, many of whom are in the room today, who will train you from start to finish. We have a phone bank this coming Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. All of you can join, it's on Zoom. And we also offer canvassing and voter registration drives on college campuses in our target West Coast battleground states, Arizona, Nevada, and as you heard from Leah a few minutes ago, since the House majority runs through California, the priority California Central Valley congressional districts are the ones we have to flip. And over there in that little yellow bubble, you'll see that is our messaging library. It includes all the issues that voters rate the highest. It's based on Anatchenko Osorio's 3V framework. You all might have heard about that. It's a way to connect with voters by talking about the values, the vision, and the villains that we in our target. And you can talk to your friends and family about this. They're voters too. So if you scan the QR code or click on the link in chat, you'll get to our website with all these actions. And in the next slide, I just want to show you some of the other actions you can take. So we want all our volunteers to be confident and as effective as they can. So we offer a full training program to get you up to speed. So you can learn how to canvass, the ABCs of canvassing. Every Tuesday we offer this. All of these are on Zoom. Anyone in the country can join. We also teach you how to phone bank, the basics of phone banking. A really important tools, the next three, are the way we talk to voters and listen to voters, and particularly active listening. How do you connect with voters using active listening tools? And then messaging. How do you win voters' hearts and minds? And messaging, again, uses that 3V framework, the values, villains, and vision that I just mentioned. And then lastly, persuasion from one of our own Arizona State House representatives, Laura Tarek, the 10 essential tools to make direct voter contact enjoyable and persuasive. So Emmy, let's hear from you about Women's March Action and a big event that's coming up.
Let's do it. So I'm Emiliana Guereca. I am an activist, originally founder of Women's March Los Angeles, and then co-founding Women's March Action to build political power. In 2024, I'm like so excited to partner with Bay Area Coalition and continue to work on mobilizing Latina voters, because the Latina voters on the West Coast are the largest voting bloc and the youngest voting bloc. So it means that some of them may not get contacted or don't really understand what's going on. But then when we get on the phone with them and we talk about what we're doing, asking them to volunteer to make sure that in California, Arizona, and Nevada, reproductive rights are protected for Latina women, that we talk about that they are the majority of the voters and that we need them. That is what we're doing for 2024. But on November 2nd, we are going to mobilize. We are going to all have actions. Because what? Women belong in the White House. That's where we belong. And so we are going to mobilize in DC marching, and in anywhere you are at, in Arizona, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, we're going to ask you to mobilize to the polls, to mobilize and call every single person you know and ask them to vote for Kamala Harris. Why? Because a lot of folks do not know enough about her right now. I drove in from Las Vegas yesterday. We turned away 4,000 people away because we were at capacity at her rally. So 4,000 people were turned away after we waited in line in 109-degree weather. That's how pumped we were. So I want you to know that anybody, you know, we are all working on this. We must form coalitions. We must all work together to make sure that we get Kamala into the White House. For me, it's personal. I am a daughter of immigrants. A daughter of immigrants is running to be president. We could do this. So we all have to be, yes. I remember texting you this, Susan. I was like, the daughter of immigrants is running for president. It's possible. And that is the American dream. So I'm going to ask you to join Bay Area Coalition, Women's March Action, Pantsuit Nation. Start where you are with what you know. If you want to learn how to phone bank, join us. If you want to do social media, join us. Join Pantsuit Nation. Do something. There is no choice unless we all continue to work to protect choice, to protect reproductive rights. So, we ready? Call to action. We've got phone banks on Wednesdays. We've got phone banks on Saturdays. Donate your time. Donate $1. Join us to make sure that we make history, because the West Coast is the best coast. Yes. So thank you. Join us. My call to action is start where you are. Do what you can. Phone bank. If you don't know how to phone bank, we'll teach you. Write a postcard. Text someone you know. And if you are in California, Nevada, and Arizona, we got you covered. Wednesdays and Saturdays, phone bank with us, text bank, or write postcards. Bay Area Coalition and Women's March Action, we got this. And you see that on November 2nd, you're going to take action on that day too. You're going to march to the polls, no matter where you're at. And we want to make sure we're in DC as well. Thank you for having me.
Emiliana, immigrants get the job done, baby. They get the job done. We are so grateful to have you today. I think you're trying to give Donald Trump a heart attack, though. I'm not going to lie. You are going to spook this man November 2nd. When he sees when you take to the street November 2nd, baby, we may just call it quits right then and there. He may just call it quits then and there.
Listen, that's what we want.
Emiliana, listen, we need to connect because I'm coming to LA for that. So please, 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 somehow let's connect when this is done, because you are fire.
Let's do this. Lisa.
Thank you both. Susan.
Thank you.
Emiliana, thank you for joining. Holy moly, so much great information. And we are to our last speaker. And we thank you for being patient with the timing thing. But we have someone who I love, love, love. And she was the very first call I made. Very first person I reached out to. Little Miss Marxist. You may have heard of her. Yes, she's on every social media platform. Her name is Vanessa Branda, and she is absolutely, without question, top 2 of my favorite people on all of social media. She's been a content creator for 4 years and has quickly become a rising star in the political influencer space, even getting a chance, by the way, to recently meet our future president, Kamala Harris.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I've just been sitting here taking this entire call in and feeling so much passion about everything that's been happening. I think what's most exciting to me about this movement is, like you said in the beginning, Barbara, this entire grassroots movement started with the Black woman call for Kamala, and I was so inspired and excited to see the intersectionality of this movement and seeing every group come forward to support her in becoming a president. I call myself an accidental activist because I wasn't interested in politics until Hillary Clinton ran for president. And I'll never forget the way that I felt when she lost and the hopelessness I felt in those moments, and thinking that seeing my dream of a woman in the White House just slip away. And then we went directly into the Trump years, and it got worse and worse, and I'm paying attention. And one day I just picked up my cell phone and started yelling into it on TikTok because I didn't have a place to express how I was feeling. I did it under a ghost name because I wasn't comfortable being myself out there yet. And it grew so quickly, and I realized how many other people felt the same way that I did and wanted to get involved in it. And after following everybody today, everybody had such great ideas on how to get involved. And I wanted to bring a little bit of silent activism tips to the chat, because not everybody is comfortable tweeting or putting their face on the internet or canvassing. You know, maybe they're shy or worried about that because working in the political space isn't for the lighthearted. But I just thought I would bring some tips and how people could do activism silently. And the first thing is educating others and being open to having the conversations. I think when we open ourselves to conversations in our immediate community, so that's at yoga class or at church or in your coffee mom group, whatever it is, I think being open to having conversations with others, especially that have different opinions with you, we can get a lot more accomplished. So that's one way that you can do it. My favorite one is clicktivism. So like activism, but clicktivism. Maybe you don't want to be on the internet. You can make a ghost profile. You can create memes. You can share other people's content. There's lots of ways to do it where your face doesn't have to be on there. You can text bank and phone bank. And just you being here on this call today is activism, because it's showing that you care, that you're engaged, that you want to learn how you can support. And that's part of the first step. But I'm just so excited to see the national enthusiasm about this and the support of a Black woman running for president. I think there's no one better for the job. I had the absolute privilege and honor of my life meeting her in person in January. And I don't even know how I got there. I just started talking into a phone and sharing my experiences and how I felt about things. And I've been able to have all of these wonderful opportunities, like being on this iconic call with you guys today. And I'm just really excited. And let's go and win this thing. Let's get it done.
Yes, Little Miss Marxist.
Just, I mean, wow, that's just energy and enthusiasm and personality. What was San Diego Comic-Con like? What, did you lose your mind out there? I want to hear about that.
So fun. Yeah, so it wasn't politically related, but I made a feminist film this year, which is going to be screened at the Chinese Theater in November for the Screamfest Horror Festival. But it touches on domestic violence and violence against women. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to go and speak on a panel at Comic-Con. And ironically enough, I was one of the only content creators on the panel. So there were authors and movie producers and things like that. But the content creation space were making things on the fly immediately. And I was just privileged to be there and speak about taking an idea from concept to creation. But it was the highlight of my life so far, besides meeting Kamala Harris. So it was great.
We're so grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And to all of the women on this call, I'm just like in awe of everybody, and let's get it done. And then we can come back and celebrate her win together. What about that?
Let's get it done. Absolutely.
We're going to celebrate. It's like a celebrate, but with Barbara Seville, a celebration. Hey, we want to give a special shout out to the people on our team who work day and night to make this happen. I am shocked that they did this in 10 days. I can't believe it. In a week, little over a week, yeah. So Barbara, you are incredible. Thank you so much, Queen. Jeremy, thank you for bringing me on board. Thank you also for seeding the space to let women lead the conversation. You know, more straight white dudes could follow that example beautifully. So thank you so much for your expertise and your leadership on this. Thank you to Madeline Thomas, who's responsible for helping us with the coordination. Because if it were me, this would be dial up and we'd have to do it by mail, because I don't know how to do any of this. But she pretty much jumped in and saved the day more times than we can count. And a special shout out to Elizabeth for that fantastic video. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Also, a big thank you to Trisha Sauer and her entire Indivisible. How long have we been here?
It's hard to say.
Indivisible team, who have managed the Zoom, the signups, the promotion to get this event spread far and wide. And finally, thank you to all of the organizations that pulled together to make this happen. Our team at Pantsuit Nation, Swing Blue Alliance, Bay Area Coalition, Women's March, and the Harris Walls campaign. Thank you for all of your support and everything you did to contribute. And actually, this is the final thank you, as it should be. Thank you to all of you who showed up tonight to come together as a community of joyful warriors. The goal was to inspire you, to get you excited to get out the vote and find your way to contribute to the campaign, however that looks. It was about getting you ideas that you could take action on.
And I feel it. I feel it. I feel a shift. I feel a shift in me. I came in here pretty motivated and educated, but I'm even more motivated and significantly more prepared for this joyful battle that we are embarking upon. And obviously, this was hopefully to make you smile, to make you feel good, to educate you and empower you for what is coming around the corner. But it's also a fundraiser. So we want to invite everybody, if you are able to share something with us, not with us, with me, with the campaign, do share it right there. There's the link. You could do it. If you've already given, give again if you can. I know I have mine set up to give weekly. I'm donating $47 every week. And that's what I'm able to do. But if you're able to do more, do. If you're able to do less, do. We are so happy to be here. Jen, this was such an incredible experience to share this with you. I really can't thank you enough for letting me be a part of this. Thank you.
I know, I've loved it. Thank you for being here. I'm coming to brunch again soon. Jeannie, we're going again. And to the rest of you, thank you for being here. We are so grateful. Let's go win this thing. Let's go win this thing. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye.